Welcome to Construction Champions Podcast, where we are burning the house down and rebuilding it twice a week. I'm your host, Ron Nussbaum, and I am here to help you become the champion that you're meant to be. Along with our amazing guests along the way, we will provide you with the resources, the latest and greatest. You will sit down with disruptors in the construction industry. And my goal from day one has always been to change the mindset around the construction industry. No more where we let the 3%. Welcome back to Construction Champions Podcast. I'm your facilitator, Ron Nussbaum. I'm the founder, CEO of BuilderComs, and I am the one that gets to bring on amazing guests and facilitate the conversation with them. So you can go be the champion that you're meant to be. You can take actionable items. You learn from disruptors, leaders, people that are forever changing the mindset around the construction industry, and today is no different. We have a fantastic guest here with us. Kyle, it is great to have you here.
Good morning, Ron. Thanks for having me all the way from Tasmania, mate. It's good to be here.
It is great to have you. And before we dive into it, why don't you introduce yourself to all the construction champions listening out there?
Cool. All right. So my name's Kyle Zanetto. I'm a 32-year-old custom home builder based in Tasmania, which for anyone out there listening that doesn't know where that is, it's the little island below Australia. They reckon the famous Tassie Devil comes from that you see in the cartoon. So that's my place of origination. Since the age of 23, I've scaled a custom home building business that specializes in high performance homes and passive house. So we are currently at 36 full-time employees, doing about $15 million in annual revenue, and looking to continue to scale in the what we call forever home space before we sort of step into the commercial sector. So that's a bit about my building company. And then in June last year, actually kicked off an online platform called Future Builder with two co-founders. So one of the co-founders, Luke Davies, is another highly regarded, award-winning custom home and healthy home builder in Tasmania. And then our media guy, Matthew Long from Tassie Visuals, created the third partner in the trio. And since then, we've scaled an online educational and resource-based platform across Australia, filling 100 companies in our exclusive group, and now launching another couple of products across the market, just getting ready to sort of hit a few other countries. So that's the elevator.
I hope you are. I hope you're ready. I mean, we're here having this conversation, so I hope you're ready for the American market.
Yeah, I actually love it over there. I was over at the build show last year, and I'm not going to make it over this year, but follow a lot of really good American builders.
Absolutely, man. There's good builders all over the world, and it's a pleasure to have you here. So I'm going to dive right in, and I'm going to ask you the $1 million question. And that is, what makes a construction champion?
It's a good question. I think that from my own personal experience, it's just come through a commitment to dedication, hard work, and consistency through learning. The issue that I've found with building is that we start as apprentices and we become builders, and then we fall into becoming business owners, and then we learn through failure typically. There's not really a pathway for a builder to become a business owner. And that's why there's so many builders out in the industry that are stressed, having financial issues, going broke and chasing money from the next project, etc. So for me, I sort of went through a pretty rough learning curve over the first 3 or 4 years, scaling up to around 15 full-time people by myself with no sort of administrative help, still doing the payroll, estimating, all the hats you sort of wear as you grow. And then my growth probably came from investing in myself and my professional development. So working with people like Mick Hawes or getting other business coaches that have already done what I was trying to do. So I think to be a construction champion, I think you have to invest in your professional development so that you can better yourself to better your business, and then bring in the right people around you to help you scale if that's what you want to do. You got to have the right people in your corner.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I'm a huge component of getting the right people in your corner. And that's typically not the people that you have around you. It's people you have to go find and typically pay to be in your corner. So that's just how that works. You got they have the street cred, they have the knowledge. Like you got to go get it where you get it, and I believe that's so important in whatever you're doing. But you nailed it right on when you're like, we just kind of fall into this. Like, yeah, not necessarily was it. I know, guys, it's different here in America where you can go get your license, decide you want to open up a construction business, but that's typically not how most of them are started. Most of them are started, started working in the industry, and the next thing they knew, they got most of the time aggravated and just decided they could do it better than the guy they were working for. And they just go out on their own and they have no training. Like you said, this is not, we're good at what we're good at. And that's what makes us great in the construction order. But the business element becomes this whole different beast that can really, like, it just drowns people.
Yeah, you're completely right. And the biggest, I suppose, the transition that we go through is you're on site for 5 days a week. Then you start a business, you're on site for 5 days a week still, but you're doing bookwork every single night. And then that grows to a point where you have a mental breakdown or you just can't keep up with it. So you decide, all right, I'm either going to put someone else on or I'm going to step off the tools and start working in the office. You do that for a period of time, your office time increases, but your understanding of how to run a business doesn't really increase incrementally with it unless you're looking outwards. And then for me, it came to a period where I've scaled to, like I mentioned, 15 full-time employees, but didn't even know what my overhead percentage was. Didn't know what markup was, margin was, the true cost of employment, and how to price jobs efficiently and effectively. So I think that was probably the biggest hole in the business. And then the harsh reality comes when you've spent 12 months doing 80-hour weeks and you don't make any money, and you go, all right,
Yeah.
this isn't the game I signed up for. What's the solution here? And then you go down this learning journey. And I think that in this day and age, we're just very lucky that the education is out there, it's online, it's available. Whereas 10 years ago, it probably wasn't as easily accessible. So there's no better time to run a successful business than right now, if you ask me.
Yeah. And man, that what you just said is that's got it rings so true for so many. You get 15 employees, you don't even know this what's even happening in the business, and then there's no money, and it becomes really hard. How did you break through that? How did you that sounds like, you're right at the place a lot of people are, but something changed in you to get you to where you are now, where you're double the size.
Yeah, so it came through failure. So 2021 went through a pretty serious phase of burnout. It was obviously scaling the company. COVID came through. We lost a considerable amount of money on three large custom homes, just being locked into $1 million fixed price contracts at, say, the age of 27. And then also was building a personal house at the time. So the weekend shifts were there. So it was basically probably 365 days, 10 to 12 hours a day nonstop. And then, yeah, just basically come through a point where I just broke down, just couldn't keep doing it all anymore. Relationship fell apart, the mental health fell apart with it. And then I just said, no, I can't continue to go down this road. And that was when I reached out, people like Mick Hawes, who I mentioned before, and I actually engaged three business coaches at once within the space of a few weeks, and went from having no idea and never spent money on coaching and spending about $8,000 a month. Did that for a period of 3 months and then siloed back and worked with Mick for a few months. Sorry, a couple of years actually I spent with Mick. And then from that point forward, I just dove into the books and the online learning, everything to do with business, building a high performance team, and money sort of filled my cup. I really like the education around scaling businesses, and followed your people like Alex Hermosi and done about 900 episodes of his, and just just dove deep and just never came back from it. Just love it.
I love it because that's all you can do. It's like you can either quit or you can just go all in on fixing yourself, which is typically where the problem, and figuring out how do we do that. And most people are too quick to say, well, that sounds really, really hard. I'm just not going to do that. But the outcomes we want live on the other side of that.
Yeah. And when you do learn what you did wrong, it's going to take 3 to 6 months to implement it and 12 months to see the results. So you're probably in the trenches for at least another year before you're going to start to come out the other side and actually sort of understand what you know, what you're doing in business. And then 2 to 3 years after that, that's when things are going to start flowing. And that's when you can have money on your side to buy back your time and build a life. I think that is ultimately what you got into business for in the first place that most people don't really get.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sad.
We're just chasing stuff all the time. So that
Yeah.
leads me to future builder.
Mhm.
I take it that's your way to give back, to be able to help people not get to where you got.
You're exactly right. So that's my why behind Future Builder is basically the experience I had with failure in business, and a lack of education and resource that was available to builders becoming business owners or that were already business owners but not succeeding. So Future Builder, we came up with the idea about 2.5 years ago from now, and then we spent about 12 months developing it. The fundamental things that we wanted to make sure that we did was build a platform that had an asset first approach. So typically in business, a failure becomes prevalent from a hole in your business. Let's say, for example, you're a custom home builder, you've got an in-house carpentry team, you've got a $3 million house on a steep site, and you need to estimate how many labor hours go into the project in construction and management. This was something that cost me hundreds of thousands in my mid-20s. So over 3 to 4 years, I built out a macro-enabled labor estimating sheet. So that sheet's got, say, 30 categories on it. Each category has every task on how to manage and build a house from on-site and off-site from start to finish, from setting up the filing system through to 7-year maintenance on the home. And the tasks are mapped out in micro steps, so small it's like pick up the trailer, drive the trailer to the site, unload, stack the boxing, peg it out, spray the paint, get the string line up, etc. And then all you've got to do is fill in the yellow boxes of how many people and how many hours or 0.25 of an hour to do each task. And then this sheet, you'll fill it out while you're starting the plans, and it'll basically spit you out 30 categories of labor in how to build a house. So I reckon I was underpricing most houses by 25 to 30% without this sheet, because I'd have the old simple mindset that, yeah, it'd be 2 blokes, 3 weeks to box the slab up and 2 weeks to frame it, and then another week to do the trusses, and had about 10 of those categories, and that was it. So the asset first approach with estimating labor started there. Then this sheet goes into 2 areas in the business. One, it goes into an on-site scoreboard, so the construction team can actually manage their hours spent on each task every day. So the analogy I sort of like to use is, you imagine your team's playing football or soccer for 12 months against your arch enemy, but you've got no scoreboard and there's $1 million at stake. You get to month 8 and you don't know how hard you need to play to win. So we have an on-site scoreboard, and then in our construction management platform, we also have an automation for the true cost of every employee, which I run at 1.5 times the base cost of their hourly rate is their actual company cost. And then that just filters into each category of labor throughout the project every day. So that was a solution that we had for live labor estimating and cost management. So what we basically did, we looked at every problem that a business had, and then my business and Luke Davies' business, my other business partner, we basically made the businesses have babies, and we white labeled every asset and tool and training process and sales document in there. And then we built this out into what we call our asset library in Future Builder. And then we built out training videos to teach people how to understand, use, and implement the assets. So one thing that I've found with a few of the platforms that I've been on, which have all been great, don't get me wrong, but the actual implementation side of what we learned in the videos or courses took additional time for us to do. And as building business owners, we're stressed, we're busy people, we want to learn it, but then we just want to download it and use it. So the entire asset library and Future Builder is white labeled. So a member can come in, pay a monthly fee, and get a white labeled business model that they know is going to work with all the solutions to all their problems. And then, yeah, every course in the platform is professionally shot in a studio. It's scripted. So there's no ums or ahs or wasted time. It's just, this is what you're going to learn. Here's my problem. Here's my solution. And here's the asset that's going to be your solution approach.
Awesome. It sounds like lots of pain and suffering that you were able to turn into something to save people pain and suffering. That's what I'm hearing when you talk.
Mate, you're bang on. I tell people, I'm like, what you're paying for here is not learning. You're paying for the mistakes that I paid for in 100 times the increment that it's going to cost.
Yeah.
You got
In that list, that what I'm sure was not something that was created overnight. That was something that was created over years of just one more thing that is just hurting the bottom line because I'm not accounting for it until you finally got to where this is it. Like, this is the set specifics for everything we do.
Yeah, and there's 25 to 30 years worth of business management and learning, and it's not only that, it's sales processes from the perfect questionnaire on your website to qualify a cash funded customer so that you can work exclusively with a non-compete with open book tendering or negotiated tender all the way through pre-construction. So the goal with Future Builder is that you build trust with your client through a proven process that works, and then you can have an open book and honesty sort of pricing method with them. And for me, all of my clients, we've got about 15 million in construction, 55 coming up. Every single one of them is signed on. It's open book. They know my markup, my margin, my expected net profit on the project, how many hours are going into their house. It's just all on the table because I'm just here to make a fair margin so I can be there in 10 years to look after their home, or 5 years, or whatever it is in the future. So I think that's the big thing that builders fall over in the industry, is they're just not open and honest with their customers, and that's where the trust gets lost. And once you lose trust with a customer, it can be quite a hard thing to bring back when there's their life savings being invested into this beautiful home.
Absolutely. Amen to that. The industry could do a lot better at just transparency and honesty. I do have to ask, you talk about that you partnered with one of the other biggest custom builder in your area. I love it because I believe in collaboration. I believe there's enough market share out there for that we can live and thrive together. Uh, but here you are, you have now partnered up with them on another endeavor. That's pretty amazing in itself.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you look at Tasmania, where I live, as like not arch enemies but top competitors, it was me and him sort of in the area. So we were sort of going toe to toe with the caliber of homes that we're building, and it just so happened by chance that I went to my media guy and said, "Hey, look, I've got this idea that I want to start this platform." And within about a 2-week time frame, I think Luke, the other business partner, had gone to him and said the exact same thing. So the media guy was like, "Guys, like, you're both coming to me with this. Yeah, the credibility would double with you both doing it." And we have different skill sets too. I'm very sales and client and customer faced, whereas Luke is very intelligent and back end operations heavy. So we've sort of just got this magic little trio that I can bring people in. Luke can make sure everything works, and Matt can make it look pretty. So everyone stays in their lane. We all sort of work together, and yeah, now we've built something quite special, and now we've got a community of 100 companies that feel like a family for us, really.
I love it. How do you manage running both operations here? Because they're both full-time endeavors, to say the least. Like,
Yeah, the first 12 months in creation was a lot. It was 15, 16-hour days most days. But once we sort of launched, and then I realized the potential of this product as well, I sort of stepped back to 3 to 3.5 days a week in my construction company. I'm quite lucky there. I've got 3 general managers and a few other operational staff that sort of run the business. So my role in Zanetto Builders now is more just sales and business development. And yeah, that sort of side of the thing. I don't have anything to do with operations really, unless it's heavy financial decisions or stepping in to provide advice based on estimating. And then, yeah, sort of just pencil out 2 to 2.5 days a week for Future Builder. So just split my week up and time block it well and just run some good time blocking systems that Mick actually taught me. So,
Well, I mean, that right there's a success in itself to be able to do what you've done with the construction business, but now you're reinvesting into other construction businesses. I mean, what you're talking about doing without Future Builder is like the pinnacle of building a construction company. And now you're like, well, I'm going to take this time to actually help others do this.
yeah, and that was honestly quite a difficult transition. And I ran a meeting with my company earlier in the year because there was sort of like the word on the street out there between the team that the boss isn't around so much anymore because I was the on-site builder that was there 5 days a week in the sun, drinking energy drinks and listening to the music with the boys and girls. And then it just slowly transitioned, and I didn't really pull everyone in to explain why this transition was happening. So moving from being an on-site builder to a professional medium-sized company, I did sort of have to phoenix the business. I lost a few of the original guys because they didn't want to be part of a systemized business, who were great friends of mine. So that was quite difficult. And then it was all about finding and bringing on people that wanted to be part of this vision of where we want to take the company now. And then I think that when you're trying to work with the people in your team, it's just all about educating them on why you're doing what you're doing so they understand. So it's not that I'm not on site in Zanetto Builders much anymore because I don't love you. It's because my time is better spent in the office because that's where my value is. And when I come to site, it's going to be bringing coffees or hydration drinks in summer and just seeing how everyone's going. I'm not going to be turning up and putting pressure on people because then I'm the boss that turns up once a month and tells everyone they're too slow. So that's not going to buy any equity, is it? So I basically just said to myself, look, I love this business. I'm always going to be in Zanetto Builders, but Future Builder really touches like a place in my heart about helping other people like me get through what I got through. So I'm really passionate about sticking to that vision and helping people. So you might see me once a month now, but this is why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Awesome, man. I love it. And just one more learning experience to be able to pass on to the future of the industry. Is your focus more on people that are coming up through just starting out or people that have been around for a while? I just see Future Builder, I think like the up and comers in the industry, but there's some old dogs out there that need new tricks as well.
Nah, it's a good question. So we've had a good think about that. So over about 12 months, Luke and I wrote a course called Base Camp. So this is a 12 module course, about 80,000 scripted words and 60 resources. So this is a course that's designed for builders becoming business owners. So this is a product that people can buy when they go from being a builder to actually running a business. So it teaches them all the fundamentals that we've learned in one course about how to set up company structures, all your financial KPIs, how to estimate, how to bring in, qualify and deliver leads, all that sort of thing. So that's our package to teach up and coming builders. We also then have a product called the Vault. So that's actually access to the entire video and white labeled asset library. So if you just want my business, here you go, come and download it. You can pay one fee a month and you can get access to it all and all the training videos. And then our sort of flagship model, which is exclusive to 100 companies, is called Keys to the Kingdom. And that's where it's mostly probably $2 to $10 million businesses that sit in that space. And that's for more of your established guys that are running decent sized little crews and been in the industry for a few years as well. So we've sort of tried to tailor the approach to tackle all three areas in the industry.
Awesome, man. Well, I love it. I love what you're doing. This has been a fantastic conversation here today. For all of our listeners, if they wanted to connect with you, learn more about what you're doing, where's the best place for them to do that?
Cool. So I'm a big Instagram fan. So two places on Instagram you can find me. One is Zanetto Builders, which is Zanetto Builders. That's the construction company. And then Future Builder, also on Instagram. And then we have websites for each platform as well. So zanettobuilders.com.au, futurebuilder.co. That's the two places you can find information about the product, services, and the company. And yeah, I'm one of those guys too. Like if you want to flick me a DM on Instagram or give me a call, I'm always up for a bit of a chat to help you through a difficult time in your business, because that's what it's all about. Us all teaming up together to make the industry better.
Awesome, man. Well, we're going to make sure that all makes it into the show notes. Thank you for taking the time and being on the show today.
No, it's been awesome, Ron. Thanks very much for having me.
Awesome. All right, construction champions, another episode in the bag where, we got a guy here that's done it, that has come through the hardships, everything that were Kyle is a construction champion. Like, he started out and he has worked through all the hard stuff. He came to a crossroad where he was completely burnt out and had to make a decision. And instead of quitting, what did he do? He doubled down on himself, but he knew he couldn't do it himself. He had to go get help so he could go to the next level. And then he went there. And then what's he do? He turns around and builds out a platform to help people get over those humps, to understand business. Construction, like I've said on here so many times, all the business rules still apply. Like, I don't care. You can't tell me, oh, I'm not a bank, so that don't apply. That's not how it works. You are in business and your service is construction. So you have to have an understanding of business principles. You just can't not know all this stuff. You don't have to be an expert at any of it, but you at least have to comprehend it. And that's what hires put to other resources, so you can start to understand what owning a business even means. So make sure you reach out to him on Instagram. Check out all the great things they're doing. And construction champions, until next time, be the champion you're meant to be.